Out of all the countless roads that I could choose, thank the stars I chose the one that led to you. Bring the unexplored, the reckless and the new, 'cause nothing scares me anymore.
Hey guys, so now we are actually heading over to the Sphere, Las Vegas at the Venetian. It's the thing that I feel like everybody and their mother has been talking about, so I'm excited to actually see it in person. We're gonna be going inside and actually seeing the show that they have right now. It's called, I think, Postcard from Earth or something. Apparently it's like an hour, so we're gonna be there for a little while. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to see it myself. Okay. So here we are back on the monorail for the last time ever. The Sphere is located in the Venetian, so we headed on over there. We had to walk for what felt like 500 miles and just followed the signs to the Sphere. And then finally we walked through the doors and the lobby of the Sphere is like a freaking SpaceX convention or something. Not gonna lie, I was kind of over crowds at that point after TwitchCon and everything, so I wasn't even gonna bother looking at what everybody was there for. But there were some like futuristic, like techie looking decorations everywhere. There were what looked like giant washers hanging from the ceiling. We had to go up a bunch of escalators. Like, I was just surprised how tall the Sphere is inside. Oh, and there's this like weird display thing here where it doesn't look good on camera. Like, it did not look like this when you see it in person. It kind of has like a 3D effect, but I think it's just like a flat display with LEDs or something. That was kind of interesting. It was displaying a whole bunch of different stuff throughout the night. And here it was showing what looked like a Death Star. It was honestly quite shocking just how high we were going inside of the Sphere. And then eventually we arrive at the level of our seats. There are some food and drink options outside of the actual like theater place. I think they even had alcoholic beverages, which was interesting. So we went to go get some drinks. And first off, let's just appreciate these prices here. $6 for candy and $7 to $8 for non-alcoholic beverages. And what was actually kind of interesting is that when you paid for your stuff, they just had this thing here. You place all of the items you're buying in this little scanning area, and I guess it like automatically scans it. You just put in your credit card or whatever, and then that's it. Like, I thought that was kind of interesting. Although they still needed a staff member to watch over it. But anyway, we finally go inside of the Sphere, and holy cannoli, the seats and the stairs were so freaking steep. It was honestly quite terrifying just trying to go down the stairs to our seats. Here's the bottled water we bought from the Sphere concession stand. It's in this like metal bottle, which I guess is kind of cool to keep as a souvenir. And so here's a better look at the actual like audience seating. I honestly feel like this might be a lawsuit waiting to happen. As I said, the stairs and the seats are so steep, it's ridiculous. And the fact that they do serve alcoholic beverages, I'm terrified at the thought of someone, you know, who had too much to drink and they stumble down the stairs. There's just a tiny little railing and some plexiglass stopping you from falling over into the bottom level. So yeah, it was like oddly just terrifying. By the way, I should just give a warning that there are going to be spoilers about the show inside of the Sphere. Anyway, as for the actual Sphere show, it's called Postcard from Earth. It was actually really interesting because it starts out just like playing, you know, like a normal movie. They're just kind of teasing you as to what the full like screen inside of the Sphere looks like. And then after maybe like 10-15 minutes, it starts to finally expand the screen here. And then all of a sudden, you're just thrown into the giant display inside of the Sphere. It was really funny because you could hear people like audibly gasp. I thought it was so funny. I just loved how easily entertained people are. But anyway, it just goes through a bunch of like landscapes and scenes inside of the Sphere. I didn't realize, but it's actually like one of those 4D experiences where the seats are like motorized, so there's some vibrations going on. And then this part here where it's like outdoors, there's some wind blowing in your face and stuff. Like, it was actually kind of interesting. But anyway, the idea of this, I don't know what you would call it, like a show or a film. There's somewhat of a story where there's a man and a woman women who wake up on like a spacecraft or something, and then they have to relearn everything that happened on Earth. So that's kind of the backdrop as to why all of these scenes are playing here inside of the sphere. It goes through like nature and then humans and all that stuff. And as for like the screen itself, it was very, very cool. The screens inside of the sphere are like so high resolution, even from as far as we were sitting. I mean, it must have been like 500 feet or something. You could tell that it was very sharp, and yeah, it just looked really high resolution. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's like a bunch of 12K screens or something. So it was actually just a really crisp and just really nice looking picture. The few things I will say about the sphere is that, so in a scene like this, it's really kind of interesting and weird that you can't actually see the edges of the screen. So for example, if you look down to where like the very bottom floor is, it kind of cuts off there, which I felt like kind of broke the immersion a little bit. But I mean, hey, if you just like look straight, you could still see like all above you, and it was really wild how like far the screen wrapped around you. The actual sort of plot of this show is really like obvious and in your face. As you would probably guess, the main theme of this show is that humans are destroying the Earth, and so eventually we're going to have to leave the planet and like colonize another one. And yeah, it's very like not subtle about it, it's very much in your face. And overall, like I was trying to think about how to sort of sum up this experience at the Sphere. What I came up with as I was watching it was that it felt like one of those Disneyland 4D rides, you know, like the Bugs Life one or something, except made for adults. Like if I had to sum it up, that's what I would say. I thought it was interesting that they tried to incorporate a plot into this. I felt like they very well could have just shown all of like the nature stuff and it still would have been really cool. And then near the end of the show, they did this thing again where it like starts out as the small screen and then it grows into the giant sphere. Like I thought that was really fun. And then that was pretty much it for Postcard from Earth. It was about a 1 hour long show. And like considering the price for it, it was $90 for each of us. I guess it was worth it. Like it was very cool to actually see it in person. I don't know, I'm interested to hear what other people have to say about it. But after the show ended, we tried to skedaddle as quickly as possible, and we were still being herded like cows. And especially with all of the escalators you have to go through, like it was super duper crowded and it just felt like so claustrophobic trying to get out of here. Here's that giant display in the lobby again showing a person. Yeah, you can really see just how crowded it was, like it was wild. But after the Sphere, we headed through the Venetian once again to head back to the monorail. It actually makes me really sad looking back at all of this footage, seeing the last time we rode the monorail for our last night in Vegas. But it was time to head back to the hotel and have a quick dinner.
I totally forgot to film it, but we ended up getting some to-go food from this restaurant at the food court. I forget what it was called, but... Oh wait, here it is. That's what it's called. This cheesesteak is pretty good. It's okay.
So we are now back in our hotel room from the Sphere. My feet are killing me, I'm quite tired, and we have to leave tomorrow morning. So I guess we will end the night here. And tomorrow we will be back on an airplane. Yay. No more hotel room. No more green window. Very sad. Okay, bye. We're going home. We finally get to see the puppies. It's been fun, hotel room. Goodbye. Our flight back home was at 9 a.m, so we checked out at 7, I think. And we caught an Uber over to the Las Vegas airport. Oh, also going through the Las Vegas airport, geez Louise, like the security were so rude, I hated it. Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest right now. But we headed on to another Hawaiian Airlines plane. Once again, I was lucky enough to sit in first class, which was very cool. For our flight going back home, we pretty much had a very similar meal. Since it was another morning flight, we had another omelet. We had some chicken, which was actually like surprisingly decent. Potatoes, fruit, croissant, and a little cake for dessert. Oh, and then I had to record this clip because we got some really like crazy turbulence when we were in the air. It was actually pretty scary, but I don't know, I probably have not experienced that bad turbulence before. I've only flown a few times in my life. But I thought it was really wild, like especially having these metal plates on our table. You could hear like everybody's plates clanking around and stuff. It was like crazy. And then I also went into the first class bathroom for the first time. I somehow didn't have to use the bathroom the whole time the flight going to Vegas, which I thought was surprising. But anyway, inside of the bathroom, I don't know, it felt like a regular airplane bathroom to me. There were some cute little flowers all over, so that's cute. And soon enough, we were finally back home. Honestly, a bittersweet feeling to come back home. The good news though was that we could finally see our 2 little puppies. It was so exciting seeing the puppies. I really missed them the whole time that we were in Vegas, and it was really nice to finally see them again. And we could finally bring them home. Alright, hey guys, we are back home. I'm just hanging out here eating some lunch with the puppies. I just wanted to wrap up this little vlog series of going to Vegas and TwitchCon. It was really amazing to kind of go out of my comfort zone, go to another part of the world. Granted, it's still in the United States. And even just going to TwitchCon, like I feel like that's something I would not have done by myself before. I was just kind of thinking about, you know, all the really amazing people who have really inspired me and I've always looked up to in life. And the fact that I've actually gotten to meet them in person, have a very like brief and short chat with them, just say hi and even like grab a picture. So yeah, this whole trip has just been a really big blast and the whole thing was such a surreal experience. I'm honestly kind of sad to be home, but at least now we have the dogs here, so I'm happy to see them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you again soon. Goodbye.